What's up, everybody? It's Conger Live. We're back again with another TMNT Mutant Madness video. In today's video, we are looking at the upcoming power mutation for next week's Dimension Clash. If you're new to the channel, Ninja, kick that like button and subscribe for more content, and let's get into it. Okay, like I mentioned in the last video, we now see the upcoming power mutations in the events tab when you click up on the power mutation symbol. So it shows us what is happening currently, and the current ones are what is being used for the wisdom, the Trials of Wisdom. Although Trials of Wisdom is totally muffed up, like it didn't reset for me and most everybody I've talked to, so hopefully they fix that for next time, because it's the weekend and they're not doing anything over the weekend, as they've proven time and time again. Alright, so we have Donatello, Mona Lisa, Baxter, Technodon, and Fugitoid. Isn't it crazy how Technodon's head's icon is like almost twice the size of other Donatello's? What's up with that? Alright, anyways, we're going to go take a look at these Brainiacs kits and discuss why we think which ones are going to be worth using this next week. So I'm going to start off with Donatello. Donatello at one time was my strongest toon before I unlocked any 5 stars. Donatello's a great toon. Omni Gadget. Select the tile, target all enemies within range 1 of it, deal energy damage, inflict negative 30 armor and barrier for 10 seconds, inflict negative 30 extra armor to targets above 30 armor, and do the same for barrier. Target all allies in that area and give defense and 30 barrier for 7 seconds. So Donatello was the reason why I started playing on manual, because I wanted to target my friendlies, because his AI targets the most enemies. The stripping the armor and barrier though is still really nice. But yeah, that's that. Let's go ahead and equip him now, since the new GUI lets us do that. We don't have to go to a separate page. His Bow Smash, the first auto skill, targets an enemy at range 1, deals physical damage, inflicts negative 40 armor and strength for 8 seconds, gains defense and extra defense per enemy under 0 armor. So he does strip that armor. This is going to help with that. More effective against physical damagers in this skill, but the last one, giving the barrier. He's kind of like an all-arounder when it comes to his support skills. His thorough analysis, whenever an enemy within range 2 uses a skill, gives 3 armor and barrier and 10% resistance to stun for 5 seconds to all allies if not stunned or silenced. Gain 3 alertness for 5 seconds. So 10% resistance to stun is almost nothing. This number should be bigger. That's my opinion. Whether you agree or not. Maybe because it stacks. It can stack. An enemy uses a skill. So, I mean, yeah, I guess it can stack to be much higher. I still think it should be 15 or 20. It should be 20%, so we can get like a guaranteed, all the enemies using a skill, you're guaranteed not to get stunned. That would make Donatello like really awesome. His integrated systems, after an ally attacks, inflict negative 1 armor and barrier for 8 seconds to the target if the attacker is above 30 armor or barrier, and give defense to the attacker if the target is under negative 30 armor or barrier. So once again, this is just helping out with his support. He's a great support with his trick rolls, the defense, the armor and barrier stripping, really cool. His last auto skill tune-up, target the closest other ally, give defense, alertness, plus 10 alertness, plus 30 barrier and focus for 10 seconds. Gives extra defense and 20 extra alertness for 10 seconds to stun, silence, or disarmed allies. So this is kind of great that he mitigates some of these negative effects by giving them more alertness. Finally, his bow staff, the equipment skill, after being attacked, gain 6 armor for 5 seconds if not disarmed or stunned. Stun is very common, but if you can avoid that, and disarmed is a great skill, but it's not as common. He should be getting that extra defense, giving him that little bit of extra survivability. Okay, next up was Mona Lisa. Mona Lisa is a great toon. This lizard lady is a very great support. Her volatile miss, she selects the tile, targets all enemies within range 1 of that tile, deals energy damage, target all allies within range 1 of that tile, give defense and 60 haste and 10 will for 4 seconds. This haste and will bonus is great, giving extra defense to targets that are stunned, rooted, slowed, or taking damage over time. Also mitigating some of that slowing and stunning that's happening. So her and Donatello working together will really help keep the whole team in the action. In her enhancing mix auto skill, targets another ally at range 3, gives defense and plus 40 strength and focus for 8 seconds. So this is cool, giving some survivability and also some extra damage output to one of her allies. Her expanded studies gains 25 haste per other ally above 25 haste. So we need some like combination action going on here. Gain 10 strength and focus per other ally above 10 strength or focus. When attacking, target all enemies within range 1 of that target. Deal energy damage. So if you can get that haste and that strength and that focus to others, the strength and focus, Donatello I think is given some of that herself as well. She's going to be able to do a decent amount of extra damage there with that. And then her fortifying formula at the start of combat gave extra defense, 36 armor and barrier resistance to stun, root, and slow to all allies for 12 seconds. So preventing some of those negative effects early on to hopefully get the advantage. And her obscuring mix, do they all call it obscuring mix? Bunch of mixes, right? Volatile mix, enhancing mix. Okay. Target all allies at range 1, give defense, target all enemies at range 1, inflict negative defense, and negative 50 alertness for 4 seconds. So really preventing them from getting that defense. And her equipment skill, all allies at range 2 gain 18 strength and focus. At allies at range 2 who are stunned, rooted, or slowed, or taking damage also get extra alertness. So this is really nice. She's just giving out a bonus to anybody who's close to her. I think she's worth, her and Donatello are both potentially worth using. Okay, the next up was Baxter the Fly. Now Baxter's kit reads decently, but overall, man, he's just been underwhelming, even when he's on Mutation. In the past, anyways. So, deal energy damage, inflict damage over 4 seconds, negative 50 strength, disarm, and root for 4 seconds, deals extra damage, and inflicts stun for 4 seconds to targets under negative 20 barrier. So he's got a stun, but it's so conditional that... Baxter. Okay, his Fly Storm targets tile all enemies within range 1 of it, inflicts damage over 6 seconds, so he does have a lot of damage over time, negative 40 strength for 6 seconds, inflicts extra damage over 6 seconds, and extra strength to stun, root, or slow target. So if you can get the stun, root, or slow, he's going to do that extra damage. This happens every 7 seconds, and the effect lasts for 6 seconds, so it's almost all the time that he's able to get this going. But it really wanting that stun, root, or slow on the target to really get the train working really well for him, which isn't always the case. His field research gains 20 alertness if he's not stunned, and after an enemy uses the skill, he gains defense and +1 focus for 10 seconds if alertness is at or above 10. Gains extra defense and extra focus for 10 seconds if the user is above 20 focus or will. So these conditionals on his are just atrocious. Yeah, this might happen sometimes, and maybe even more often than not with the meta, but it's just not good enough, you know, to have it be a gamble. If he was always getting these bonuses, Baxter would probably be really amazing, but because he's not getting the bonuses often enough, it's just he's just not doing enough from what I've observed. Lord of the Flies inflict negative 50 alertness and strength to all enemies taking damage over time. So this is nice if it's a really strength heavy team, and he can get a lot of that damage over time. I think if there was a reason to make multiple teams and having a damage over time synergy team was necessary, then I think he would have a place there. Other than that, probably not going to want to use Baxter. Inflicts negative 50 haste and negative 25 will to all enemies taking damage over time. That's really nice if you take him to 225, but still just doesn't do enough from what, if you ask me. Fly away, target enemy at range 1, all enemies within range 1 of them, inflict damage over time, 6 seconds, negative 40 strength, and move up to range 3 away from enemies. So this happens every 10 seconds, and at 250, target enemy at range 1, inflicts slow for 6 seconds. So it's going to add slow to that. More effective, he's more effective against physical damagers. He is a blaster damager. Too conditional on all of his skills to really make use of him, in my opinion. His Coil Blaster gains 45 focus at the start of combat, inflicts disarm and root for 2 seconds to the closest enemy. This is probably one of the best things about him, is that he's got a little bit of extra damage output coming like all the time, but that he can root and disarm the closest enemy at the beginning of the match. But for 2 seconds, it's just not long enough to get an advantage. Okay, then we have Technodon. Technodon is great in the rooftop event because of these turrets he summons, but in regular PvP, he has not seemed to perform as well as maybe we would like him to. His turret is dropped to the tile, range 3, and it's got some health and it does some attack. It lasts 11 seconds. The turret attacks deal some extra damage when attacking at range 2+, and inflict -5 haste and -2 barrier for 15 seconds. So if you can get the turrets to stay distant, they're going to do more. I would like to see maybe the haste and the barrier be stripped at, say, like a 2 and a 1 all the time, and then maybe increased if it was further range. That would make the turrets maybe feel a little stronger, because the turrets want to get close. They move on their own. They got their wheels. So yeah, it's an extra target. PvP, even on Mutation, I don't think Technodon's going to be worth using. Target all enemies in a line, inflict negative defense, deal energy damage and extra damage, and inflict stun for 1 second to targets under 25 haste. Mona Lisa's giving out so much haste, and then people are probably still going to use Attila. Attila's like probably the best tune in the game, so he's probably still going to be in these battles. I don't see this stun ever proccing. Electrified Staff, when attacking, inflict negative barrier for 15 seconds. When attacked, if the attacker is under 20 barrier, deal energy damage and inflict disarm for 2 seconds. So this is really cool, the staff kind of like attacking back. The potential of this is great, but I don't know if there's enough stripping of barrier, and with Donatello, regular Donatello likely being used, giving barrier to his teammates, this is probably not going to proc if you're trying to combo things this week. So once again, not thinking Technodon's the way to go. Gain focus, armor, and barrier per turret at range 3. Turrets within range 3 gain 25 focus and haste. So that's nice. He's like, yeah, let's make my turrets work a little bit better. This is basically going to be all the time anyways, so just kind of like meh. And then his Tesla Pulse, target all enemies within range 3, deal energy damage, inflict -40 strength and focus for 12 seconds. Target all enemies within range 3 of a turret, deal energy damage, inflict -40 strength and focus for 12 seconds. So this actually is probably the best thing. This happens every 10 seconds and unlocks at 250, inflicts -30 extra strength and focus per hit to targets under 10 barrier. So he could be doing some combos with this. Now it takes a while for this to go off the first time. If this triggered right away at the beginning of the battle, that would kind of really move things along. But I think that it's since it's 10 seconds, a little slow to really make things work. And of course, his Tesla Staff, whenever an allied summon is attacked, gains 6 focus and give all turrets 6 focus for 5 seconds. You know, the condition of his turrets, an allied summon, you would think, oh, well, maybe it's stronger if you can get other summon units on the board with him. We've tested this with Rat King. It really wasn't that great. Haven't tested it with Alpha 1 because Alpha 1 has some skills that are busted. So maybe, but yeah, for this week, I don't see Technodon as being one of the ones that you really want to lean into. Yeah, that's a no. Okay, so we got 4 down. Last one is Honeycutt. Sorry, Mr. Honeycutt, Fugitoid. Hypercharge. Select an ally, give defense and 150 haste and 75 focus for 4 seconds. Give extra defense and 75% stun resistance for 4 seconds to targets under 50% health. This is pretty cool. His Hypercharge is a decent support skill, especially if you're using blasters. Yeah, maybe useful with the other two supports. Like, it's a really support heavy week. You know, these So maybe Fugitoid worth using. That's a big maybe. Target all enemies in a line at range 4. Deal energy damage over 2 hits. Deal 5 extra damage per haste, armor, and barrier hit. This happens every 5 seconds, so it's really nice. It's not a lot of damage, though. It's not his strength. Sal is gains 50 armor when attacking. Deal extra damage to targets under 20 barrier. That could happen comboing more likely with... which one was it? Technodon, maybe with regular Dawn as well. I think, yeah. Okay, once again, just okay. Scientific pursuits after using a skill give defense to all allies if will is at or above 0. All allies with defense gain 40 haste. This is nice. The extra haste. All allies with defense gain 40 barrier and focus at 225. I think this is the 225 is going to be basically necessary. So you need Fugitoid at 4 stars if you want to try and use him in PvP to really get some synergy going on with this setup. I only have him at 3 stars. I definitely wouldn't be using him at only 3. But if you have him at 4 or 5, maybe he's viable. Maybe. I think Donatello and Mona Lisa are the ones really that could help. You know, this might be a week where you just use the top 5 meta tunes. Maybe drop one of those two, the first 2 in there. Target all allies gave defense and 50 barrier for 10 seconds. Deal energy damage to all enemies at range 1 of an ally. This happens every 8 seconds. And at 250 gives extra defense and deals extra damage to each target per ally at range 1 of them. So yeah, damage is not his strong suit. He's really a support. But with the way PvP works, the amount of support that he gives versus the damage that you would lose by just having someone else that does more damage put in there, I just don't think it's enough. I think you want some just more raw, pure damage, like Irma. You know, like who are you going to take out for Fugitoid? So let me know in the comments down below. Lastly, his Salcor. Start combat, gains defense, all allies at range 2 gain 30 haste and 15 focus. So giving the focus and haste boost is nice all the time. I think he would work well with Irma. So imagining if I'm trying to use as many of these mutation heroes as possible, I'm using Donatello, I'm using Mona Lisa, I'm using Fugitoid, and then the other 2 heroes I'm using are Attila and Irma. And I want Fugitoid next to Irma, so he is feeding her the best chance to help her do the most damage. You know, I don't know. Is Fugitoid better than April when he's on Mutation? I don't know. Is, Mona Lisa or Donatello better than, some of the other heroes that you're going to be using? I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. This video has gone on long enough. Thank you guys so much for watching, for sticking with us, for being a part of this community. Don't forget to ninja kick the like button, subscribe, all that jazz, and we'll see you in the next video.